the technical issues.
Okay, so we have
First time for everything.
Internet, slow internet. Okay, go ahead.
the two packages of the yeast, the 2 cups of water, the half a cup of corn oil, and 4 tablespoons of olive oil.
The olive oil. Now, if you know anything about pizza, it's all about the crust. The crust is the key to great pizza.
You betcha.
It's crappy
the base,
crust.
It's the base of the whole thing. It's like if the foundation of your house isn't right,
It's
your
so
house
true.
is going to fall down.
So this crust recipe is promised to give you very good results. How long have you been using this recipe, you guys?
Over 30 years.
30 years. Okay, so it's a 30-year recipe.
Half a cup of corn oil.
Cornmeal.
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 Sorry.
And I love cornmeal. It adds a really nice texture to pizza crust. It gives it a little bit of crunch. It's just that when you bite into a really good pizza crust, it's that cornmeal.
It's not the same without it.
I agree.
Okay, and 3 cups of flour.
Okay.
The starch.
All-purpose you're using.
All-purpose flour.
All-purpose, regular,
All-purpose.
El Cheapo.
There's 5½ cups altogether.
Okay.
We're going to put in 3 cups
at a time.
Yeah. Mixed up.
Now my Kitchen Aide goes everywhere. Look, your slow speed works. I have to get mine redone.
So
it's
then
too fast.
let this mix for anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes.
One of the
Okay.
best things we ever made.
And then you're going to add two more cups in there,
Then you're
right?
going to add the 2½ cups and put the dough hook on.
Okay.
And add the 2½ cups.
And knead it.
And knead it for a little bit, and then
Okay.
I'm going to take it out and knead it a little bit more.
Okay.
Just to get it.
So to fast forward, give some tips on what you guys do for your dough. You're proofing them in the oven. Talk to folks about what you're doing.
Here's the thing that we do. Fortunately, our oven has a digital temperature readout.
Right.
And when you first start it, it says 100.
Right.
What I do is I wait until that 100 becomes 101, 102, 103, whatever it does. I turn off the oven.
Okay.
And that's where we proof the dough.
So if you understand anything about yeast and dough, it needs a warm environment to proof and to get bigger in size.
Right. And if it's too warm, what does yeast die at? About 115?
I think so. I'm not into baking, so, but it's very temperature sensitive. And this time of year, we're in fall in California, although it's not cold here. But if you were in Chicago, you would definitely need to put it into a proofing a drawer or something. It would never get to temperature.
Right.
So they're putting it in. You put it in the drawer or in the inside.
No, in the oven.
In the oven.
In the oven. On a rack in the center of the oven.
And how long does it need to be in there?
Well, normally it has to. And Diane will tell you. Normally it takes an hour before you can punch it down the first time.
Okay.
And doing it this way, it takes about 30 minutes.
Okay.
So it cuts the time in half.
Okay.
And then after you punch it down the first time, you wait till it's gone up to the size it was the first time.
Okay.
Which is 15, 20 minutes usually, and it's done. That's what it was today.
So to recap, how long ahead of time do you need to make the dough, proof it, when you want to make the pizza?
Well, make the dough an hour before you're ready to assemble the pizza.
Okay, so an hour ahead of time.
At least an hour to an hour and a half. If you're doing it at room temperature, you're going to have an hour and a half at least.
To have the time. So we'll go ahead and turn the Kitchen Aide off because we're going to cut to we have pre-made dough, right, that we're going to put in here. Okay, so...
Hand me a little bottle with the red top.
This is the olive oil.
Right, it says Amway on it, but it also says...
Olive oil.
Popeye's girlfriend.
Okay. So let's talk about these pans really quick.
Okay.
So what size are we using here?
They're 16-inch diameter by 2-inch high pans.
Okay.
And these are the type of pans that are used in pizzerias in Chicago.
Right.
They're stamped out of iron. They're not
Aluminum.
steel. They're not aluminum.
Okay.
They're iron.
They're iron.
They're not cast iron. Okay. They're sheet iron.
They're sheet iron. Difference.
You can't buy them around here, but...
This is well loved. Now, how long have you had this pan?
Over 30 years. It's never been washed.
Okay. And what he means by not wash is that you know, anything like with a delicate pan, you don't want to really use soap and abrasives on it. No. You want to wipe it out and keep it clean that way.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
put a little oil on it when you put it away.
Yes. So if you don't have a pizza pan per se, you could do a cake pan, and you can go to any supplier, restaurant supply, but you can buy one on Amazon. There's an interesting thing about this pizza pan, though, is that it's meant to spin. Right.
It's
and it does it more on tile than it does here.
Right.
But it's made that way so that you can spin it.
Spin it around while you're making the pizza. It's kind of convex on the bottom.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get going. Where's the dough?
Okay. I put a little olive oil in the pan.
And then you do your hands, right?
But first thing you do.
Okay.
wash your
Yes.
hands, folks.
Thank you.
Because you're going to handle every darn thing that goes in this pizza.
Yeah. Clean hands.
Then-
Food safety.
And this is really good for your skin. Put some olive oil on your hands, because if you don't, you will the second time. I
Yeah,
promise.
For sure.
Because you're going to spend a half hour trying to get the dough off your hands.
Yes.
So I'm going to go back here.
So let's show this before. Let's bring
Okay.
this up here. So this has been Diane made the dough. It proofed in the oven, and this is what it looks like.
There was twice as much of it because we made one
Right.
pizza.
So this recipe makes how much? Enough for 2 pies?
Two pies.
2 pies. And we're gonna put the recipe later. We'll add it in the thread, so we have that. But the recipe that they're giving us makes enough for 2 18-inch,
16-inch.
deep dish pies.
Did you guys
Okay?
talk about the oven?
We will. What did we preheat the oven at?
500 degrees.
500 degrees. Hot.
After 5 minutes, lower the temperature to 450.
Okay. So here's the dough.
I mean, of course, that's after you put the pizza in.
Right.
Okay.
Plop.
Thump.
Give me that.
Okay.
I'll just
Now, no rolling.
No tossing.
No throwing it up in the
I was
air.
really disappointed. I wanted to see tossing. I wanted my hand at that. That's the Italian in me. I wanted to see the toss.
You can do that if you want, but you got to do that yourself.
Move the
You're
oil
not
a
going to
little
get me to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you just
Okay.
kind of press it down and stretch it as you're pressing it.
So like you're keeping your palms very flat, and I think being oiled is the thing. If you've ever tried to
If
stretch
you
dough,
don't have oil on your hands,
it'll stick.
you're going to be going, "Oop, darn
That's a good
dough."
tip. And I want to show here real quick. Let go. I don't know if you guys can see. If he pushes it, if you use dough, it will tend to retract a little bit. So you got to put a little pressure to
Right.
get it out to the sides.
You got to actually tell it you want it bigger than you want it.
Right. And you're
If
getting
you-
a little bit of a lip there.
You want a ridge around the edge, and you'll find out why.
Yeah.
I'll
I
explain
really
that.
like what's happening with this edge here. This makes me
Very
very excited,
shortly.
and you'll see shortly why. This style pizza is so yummy, and it's against the grain of what you probably traditionally think of pizza, when you think of the way it's assembled and the way that you eat it. This style pizza is different. So,
Yeah.
and we're going to show you why as we keep going.
Anthony Bourdain
Yes.
said with regular pizza, New York style street pizza, whatever, you start in the middle of the slice and eat to the end. He said, with this one, I'm starting on the outside.
Yeah, and work your way.
And
work your way
Bert
in.
replied to him, he said, well, you know, kids don't eat the crust.
They do in this one.
But, no, usually even then,
Really? I love
said-
Chicago style
Me
crust.
too.
but their parents, oh, I'm talking about
Are
the
you gonna
edge.
eat that?
Talking
Give
about
that to
the
me.
edge.
Well, the edge is the best part, and again, I keep talking about it, and you're going to see why the edge is going to be your favorite too.
And-
Traditional pizza, it's not so much, but on this style pizza, it is, and it has something to do with cheese. And if you didn't catch the beginning, what did I do with the pictures? What did I do with the? Okay, let me get them.
Way back there.
Way back here.
That's my fault. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We had to stop.
Beat me later.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll beat you with the pizza dough. We had to cut because we're having some streaming issues. But this is the man that inspired you, and this is Bert Katz. And so, what does his sign say in the restaurant? I want you to say.
This was Bert at work.
Yeah,
That's what you saw in the restaurant.
yeah.
Now-
Now Bert was not Italian.
No.
No.
People would always say, you must be Italian. You make such great pizza. He said, no. And he pointed to a sign that he had made on the wall. And in Latin, that sign said, Jews make the best pizza.
So, if you don't know who he is, you can Google him, look him up.
Google, Bert Katz,
You can watch the
K-A-T-Z.
episode. Anthony Bourdain's video of him is on YouTube. You can watch it. It's really good.
Yeah.
But he's since deceased, and I guess they've reopened,
Yes.
got it right, and you can, if you're in Chicago, you can go there and try the pizza. I guess it's approved by the widow. Is it his widow?
His wife and daughter,
daughter.
both told the new owners, you got it.
You got it. And you knew people that worked in his restaurant.
Oh, my,
And so that's where you kind of copied this from him.
well, Bert was my mentor.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. He didn't let anybody in the kitchen.
Right.
But she could tell you I was in the kitchen.
Yeah, so he was watching, and this is why this guy is doing this video today with me, because he's the real deal. He knows how to make this pizza from the king of deep dish pizza,
He
right?
was known as the Pizza King of Chicago.
Yep, he won how many every year, didn't he?
10 straight years.
10 straight years.
Best pizza in Chicago.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
You know,
in
so-
Chicago, that's
Yeah.
saying something.
Put it on your bucket
Now,
list, for sure.
Get a good close look at how
Yes.
the cheese is being laid
Yeah. So basically,
it's sliced.
It's sliced cheese, not grated, which I do anyway. I think it puts a better cheese layer on there. But what he's doing is he's overlapping the cheese, so the cheese is gonna touch the edge of the pie pan. So it's gonna caramelize and get golden. And I'll hold it up when we're done so you can really see it. But you can see Tim is a very meticulous guy, but he is making sure that each piece is overlaying the other, so there's not one gap in cheese. He's also making sure that it's going over the, here I'm sliding your pizza dish here, that is slided over, but you're making sure that it's getting on the edge.
Right up to the edge of the steel part of the pan.
And it's whole milk mozzarella.
Yeah, whole milk mozzarella.
Yeah,
don't get any of that part skim crap.
Never buy that stuff.
Yeah.
It is junk.
Now, do you get it sliced for you, or do you buy it sliced?
No. Yeah, you can buy it sliced. We buy 5-pound blocks and slice it. We have a slicer.
Yeah. I highly recommend that. I'm not a fan of buying pre-grated, shredded, sliced cheese. They put a cornstarch dusting on it, if you will. If you look at shredded cheese, it doesn't melt correctly. So never use, if you can avoid it, pre-shredded, pre-sliced cheese when you're trying to melt things. It just is not good. I know it saves time, but trust me, you will be happy that you sliced it yourself. And you can tell the texture of it. It's stickier.
You can buy a slicer for, it'll cost you about $100.
Yeah, it's worth it.
And it's worth every penny. You'll be glad you did.
Sure. But you could use a trusty knife. I mean, you know, guys, it's not hard to slice it.
Well, you know, when we slice the mushrooms that we make,
yes.
You know, with these raw mushrooms, but you notice they're very uniformly sliced.
Yes.
You know why?
Because you're using a mandolin?
No.
Oh.
I use an egg slicer.
Oh, yeah, you can totally do that. Or a mandolin.
Right.
Whatever
Same thing with the olives.
Okay, you're slicing them yourself.
With an egg slicer.
So this pizza is going to have homemade sausage that he made. You don't have to use homemade, and we'll have tips on that when we get to it. Fresh mushrooms, good quality pepperoni like boar's head, or use something that's good. Fresh green pepper and red, right? Red and green pepper.
Right.
Black olives, and what else? Something's hiding under there. What else is underneath that? Red onion.
Onion.
And then Parmesan cheese.
And Parmesan cheese.
And homemade sauce. And we're going to show you how to do everything when we go.
And the sauce, we're
going to make the sauce, right?
We're going to make the sauce.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to move this one that we already have just out of the way so that we can have you do the fresh one. And then we can go back.
No, that's the one we're going to use on this pizza.
No, I know, but you're going to show how to do it, aren't you?
Okay.
Yeah, let's show how to make it, and then we'll swap it back out, because I want
All
everybody
right.
to see how you do it.
Well, it's
bring this up
very
here.
quick and easy.
Yep. So tell what we're doing here. Do you need garlic? Here.
This is 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes.
Okay. Any brand?
I like the S&W.
S&W, Cento.
Okay.
They're good.
Okay.
Okay, now 2 teaspoons of
Oregano.
dried basil leaves and 2 teaspoons of oregano. By the way, we grew the
Which he
oregano.
grew himself. But you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Just make sure that your dried spices are fresh. You know, after
Right.
about 6 months, they start to lose their, and you want them to be, and you could use fresh too if you wanted to. You could go out to your garden and put fresh in there.
Our recipe says salt to taste.
Okay, so what about?
That's it. That's my taste.
Okay, so like maybe
a good pinch of salt.
A teaspoon.
Yeah, and half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon.
And
I'll get rid of that.
kosher salt.
Kosher salt. Okay, 5 cloves of garlic.
Yeah, because of the size, I used 5.
Okay.
If they're a little bigger, I'll use 4.
Okay.
We had a friend once who, because the recipe said, you know, for whatever your taste is, she put 12 cloves of garlic in her pizza sauce.
I like really garlicky. I will say that. I would probably do more, but and I'll taste yours and I will give my professional food review on it. But garlic to your taste. And that's the thing, guys. The whole idea of cooking with friends and the cooking videos I'm doing with you guys, it's about, you know, we're going to give you guidelines and recipes, but gosh, just modify them as you like. If you like more salt, add more salt. If you like garlic, add more garlic. There is no right or wrong, really.
Right.
Okay?
So we put the basil, oregano, salt, and garlic in the tomatoes.
Fresh tomato.
We're going to stir it up. Now that's all the spices that are going in your pizza.
Okay.
Other than what might be in your sausage.
Right.
I don't use a lot of spice in my sausage.
Okay. And again, that's to taste. If you like spicy sausage, use spicy sausage.
You can use hot sausage.
You can use sweet sausage. You can use whatever you like. It's totally what you like.
I like it with hot sausage myself, but not everybody does.
A lot of times we do a mix.
Yeah.
Half and half.
Sure. Yeah. It's totally what you like.
So
now I'm going to swap that back up. This is the stuff
sauce.
that's sat. And I think you should do the sauce and let it sit a little bit. The flavors, dried herbs need to kind of sit in something wet and here.
Make the sauce
Make the
before
sauce,
you
Diane,
make
I'm
the
gonna
dough.
give it to you. So I want you guys to see the texture of this sauce. Now when you buy pizza sauce in a jar, it's thick, it's pasty, and it doesn't have the beautiful chunks. And this is what makes pizza sauce, whether you're doing Chicago style or any style pizza, is the sweetness of the tomatoes. I want you to see the chunks of tomato.
Now you want to pat that.
Do you want to bring
Pat that cheese
before you
down.
put the sauce on? You want to bring the pan over here?
Sure. Can you? Here, I'll come closer. Can you?
You
get
want to pat that cheese down so that you've made like a layer, a
You see it?
membrane.
So
because
you're
you want
seeing
it to.
everything is overlapped. There's not one spot here that's not covered by cheese. Okay, got it?
I got a really good shot
Okay,
of
I'm gonna go back. Oh my gosh, that pizza looks so good. And if you guys could smell what it smells like in here right now, I'm seriously giddy. I can't wait to eat this pizza. Sorry you're not me, because I'm so excited.
So we put a little sauce on the bottom.
Okay.
Some
Very
zoom in
low.
action.
So we're doing a reverse on pizza. Typically on pizza you do the dough, you do the sauce, you would do cheese, and you would do toppings. This is different. You're doing the dough, then a layer of cheese. And what that does is it seals the crust from getting soggy. It creates a barrier so the sauce doesn't, because this is deep. It's a deep dish
I
pizza.
thought you said you didn't know all about how to make this.
I know how to
I'm
make
just
everything.
kidding.
To some extent. To some
I'm
extent.
just kidding. Okay.
So you see how beautiful this is. Not a lot of sauce. It's chunky. You can see the herbs in it. It smells like heaven.
Okay. And this is one you're going to help.
Are we done with this or just one?
No, we're not done.
Well,
No,
let me move it out of your
no.
way. I'm afraid you're going to spill it. He spilled the cheese. So
I'm not
we're
going
nervous.
to spill it.
So this sausage you made,
Just grab some pieces of sausage,
okay.
throw them all over the pizza.
Now when you make your own sausage, what do you do?
Grab some sausage, throw it
Oh,
all
well,
over the
okay.
pizza.
I made it work. This is the fun of doing cooking with friends. Is you guys are cooking and I'm just like getting to eat it. What? You're putting me to work. That's not fair. All right.
Now
All
tell
right.
if you want to use.
Yeah, if you want to use cooked sausage,
Yeah, if
or,
you want to use commercial sausage,
sausage.
pre-cook it.
pre-cook it.
Because if you don't, you're going to have a greasy mess. You
Right.
will not be happy. Crumble it, as it's cooking. Do it.
Yeah.
We do it in the microwave when we do that.
Just
Okay.
buy the
And then
legs.
you're gonna see us do this a lot. We're gonna give that pizza some love. We're gonna pet it and pat it. And
It's like playing. I guess it's like that. Oh, when you're a kid, and you play with mud pies.
There you go.
Like I don't really like that, but you can do it.
Don't play with the food, except for now you're supposed to.
What?
Don't play with the food, except for now. That's
I know.
what
Now
we're
you
doing.
get to.
and then we're gonna put on some mushrooms.
Okay.
Just
And if you don't like mushrooms, don't do mushrooms. Again, this is totally up to you guys.
The mushrooms are pre-cooked also.
Okay,
yeah,
so
you
tell me how
always
you do
pre-cook
that.
your mushrooms. You put them in a. These were cleaned, of course. You better clean your mushrooms. You'd be sorry if you don't.
Well, you know, a little dirt never hurt.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's not dirt.
I'm sorry.
And then
Who? Okay,
we
so
all know what mushrooms grow in.
yeah.
Then after you've got the mushrooms on, oh, by the way, you cook them in the microwave and then drain them good.
Okay, now why the microwave?
Well, I do them in the microwave because it's
Okay.
quick.
It's easier.
I don't like. I feel like it's zapping the energy of the food.
Not really.
I'm kind of hippie.
No,
part
because you
hippie.
don't.
It's like an oven, kind of.
Yeah.
And then
But they don't
Where's
look
the wine,
zapped.
Diane? You were gonna bring wine.
I'll go get
And then
it.
we're gonna put
I just
on.
don't wanna
Now,
cut
a lot of
right
people
there.
like their green peppers done in strips.
I'll open up
No,
my-
I like chunks. I
I
like.
do it this way.
I like every bite to have a little bit of everything.
Exactly.
So to
You
me,
hit the nail right on the head.
please do chunks. I see these pizzas that are competition pizzas and they're beautiful, but they have these big strips of food on them, and it's beautiful, but it's hard to eat. The pieces are falling off. I don't like that. So diced. Now, why red onion? You just like it
Looks
better?
better.
It's prettier. Okay.
I think they have a different taste.
Okay.
They
So
do
you
have a
could
slight-
saute the mushrooms if you wanted to
Yeah.
lightly, and that's probably what I would do. Just I'm not
Okay.
a big fan of the microwave, but okay.
And then our egg slicer sliced olives.
Okay. He slices his own olives. I buy them pre-sliced. I admit it. Whatever works for you.
Well,
And I don't like black olives, but I like them on pizza. That's the only
only a
place I like
commie
them.
would put green olives on a pizza.
Okay, guys.
Vino, red wine. Cheers.
That always makes it go better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
Brian, do you want
grab
some?
some pepperoni
All
and
right.
start throwing
Let's
it
do
on
some
there.
pepperoni.
Do you want some Coke? I have
Like you're dealing the cards.
for now.
Yeah, we saw that.
Nobody saw.
We don't care.
I like a lot of pepperoni.
Well, we're
What do you
gonna
like?
put, all we got here is going
Okay.
on, all we've got left is going on this pizza. The rest of it
Okay.
went on the other one.
All right.
So there's gonna be Quite a bit of pepperoni on here.
It's good pepperoni. It's got some spice to it. It's got some kick.
Yeah, don't buy crappy pepperoni.
No, don't buy crappy. I like boar's head. I don't know what kind you would brought, but that's my favorite pepperoni. I think
Is
it
it
tastes,
really?
yeah, it has a really nice flavor to it.
Then
Are we done with this?
we're done with
I'm gonna be your
that.
helper.
We're done with all of these.
Okay.
Then we
More sauce.
more sauce.
Okay.
We're gonna need that other one.
Okay. Where did I do it?
That's been sitting for a little while now.
Diane, do you have the
Oh,
sauce?
yeah.
Diane took our sauce.
I got it.
Diane. Here, give me that. No, I don't even trust you anymore because you're gonna knock it on the floor.
No, I won't. I won't do that. I
All
promise.
Now, how much sauce?
I put about 2.5 ladles.
2.5 ladles.
This is a pizza sauce ladle. You notice it's flat on the bottom,
Yep, good tip.
and that's the kind of ladle you want.
Or you can just bash your spouse with it in a regular one, and right?
For 2 pizzas, it's usually about a 28-ounce can.
28-ounce can will do 2 pizzas.
Yeah.
And you definitely want to do 2 because 1 is never enough.
Yeah.
But although I'll tell you a funny story,
Close it.
Oh.
I'm all.
we
Here,
had,
Yeah, good job.
I always say that the average person, 2 slices of this pizza is a meal.
Well, it is because this pizza is very filling. I will
Our
say
son
that.
had these 2 friends, these 2 brothers, that they were in scouts together. And I said something about 2 slices was a meal.
Okay.
One of them wanted to make a liar out of me. He ate 5.
Well, they're in competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 1 is.
He never ate pizza again.
Probably not.
And he was sick.
Yeah.
Well, we need olive oil.
Actually, they spent the night, so.
So why do you
they
top
got
it with
sick
olive
this
oil? What does that do?
Keeps it from burning, for one
Okay.
thing.
All right.
Otherwise, you end up with all that cheese on top being burned.
Ah.
And, one more time, you'll give that pizza some love.
Ugh. All right. I'm glad you're doing it, not me. Ugh. All right. We're pressing it all down.
Okay.
All right. So how long does this cook for?
Okay. It'll be in the oven about a half hour or longer.
Here. Ah.
It'll be done when it's done.
Pick that up,
Okay.
Trish, see how heavy it is.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I lift. I'm like, what do you think this is like 5 pounds?
Bum.
Yeah, let me bring it close. Here, I don't want my big butt to knock over. Here, let it come
Where do you want to
close.
bring the other one?
I can't bring down. Okay,
Okay, I'm gonna...
can you see that?
They got-
So you can still see the cheese on the edge, still kind of sticking out, and that cheese is going to form a crust on the edges when we take it out. Okay?
Right there, that's perfect.
So it started with the dough. It was a layer of a whole milk mozzarella cheese. There was the sauce that he does with crushed tomato, oregano, basil, and salt. Did we put pepper in that, Tim? Did you put pepper in the sauce?
You mean like black pepper?
Yeah, like that. No, so no pepper. Then he's going to do sausage, whatever toppings you like. This has red and green bell pepper, black olives, and mushrooms that are lightly sauteed before you put them on. And then, of course, pepperoni, more sauce, little Parmesan cheese, and it's going to go in the oven. It's 500 degrees, you said?
Well, it was, but it's going in a little cooler now because we had the oven standing open. I didn't know we were going to do
Okay,
that.
but it goes in a 500-degree oven for how long, Tim?
For about 5 minutes, and then you lower it to 450.
Okay, so 500 for 5 minutes and then to 450. And then we're going to cut to the one we already did. I'm going to bring this over to you. Do you want me to put it in?
No, I got
You're
it.
going to do it? Okay.
I can do that part.
Here, I'm going to move this, the cheese. So,
I'm gonna...
can you get I can't lift it up. It's hot.
Yeah.
Can you come closer? Careful.
The glove mitts.
Got stuff
Hold
plugged
on,
in there.
hold on. I can bring it closer.
Be careful.
Move that glass.
Yeah, I'm going to move your wine.
Thank you.
You deserve your wine. You're sweating up a storm. It's hard work to make Chicago-style pizza.
There you go. You can see the edge.
Mm-hmm.
The cheese has run over the edge. The dough has pulled slightly away from the edge, and the cheese has flowed down there and caramelized now.
It's good.
So when you bring the pizza out, how long do you recommend? Because we're not going to eat it
About
like
10
this.
minutes.
We're going to kill ourselves if we do.
If you try to slice it right now, you're going to have a mess on your hands.
So yeah, you want to let this pizza, let it solidify. You want to let it kind of get solid again. Like a lasagna, when you pull lasagna out, you never want to slice
Gotta
it.
rest for about
Let
10
it
minutes.
sit for 10 minutes, maybe 15. Let it kind of sit. Once it's set, you can tell by the way it looks. Then you can cut it and serve it up. So we're going to wait until it's solid enough to cut it, and then we're going to taste it in person on here, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion. You guys know me. Most of you have been watching me on TV, giving food reviews in restaurants on the food. You see me on my own cooking videos. I'm very honest. If I think it's bad, I say it's bad. If I think it's good, I'm always fair. My cooking, sometimes I'm epic. You ask my son, sometimes it's epic, sometimes it sucks, you know? Nobody's ever going to hit a home run every time.
That's right.
So that being said, this looks and smells.
I think it's.
Wash all that oil off my hands.
I would say it's
before I drop
epic,
something.
epic more than fail, but you know,
Yeah.
sometimes.
I'm a good cook. I mean, my kids are very lucky. They're going to find out when they move out, if they ever move out of my house, that the real world does not eat like our household eats. They're going to
You
find
keep
out.
cooking
that
the way you do, probably not.
But I have made some really, really bad dishes. You know, sometimes if my heart isn't in it, it's just, you know, if I don't care, it's like, it sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is that telling us?
That the oven just got up to temperature.
Up to temp. All right.
Right.
All right, so any stories you want to share while we're waiting for this to... You look sweaty. I feel like I should be watching. Here. Let's...
It is a little,
really sweaty.
it's a little hot in here.
I'm like, what? Your sweat. Okay. So let's talk about the Chicago link. So your wife is the Chicago girl,
Well,
right?
yeah,
Because you were raised in San Bernardino.
Right.
Okay. And
I moved to Chicago when I
Diane,
was 16.
come over here. You're part of this. So you were raised here. You live in San Bernardino. I'm at their house, by the way. People kept saying your kitchen looks different. Yeah, this isn't my house. So yes, the Abneys have invited me into their home, and thank you for inviting us to come in and sharing your recipe and your love for pizza with everybody.
And I found her in Chicago too.
You found her in Chicago. So tell us how you met.
Oh no, don't tell me.
Is that bad? It's a bad story. Okay, we'll
No.
skip over
No,
that.
it's not bad. It's just
It's not that bad. It's just really unusual.
Was it over pizza?
No, we met in the men's room.
Oh God. Okay, I don't even want to hear that story. So you fell in love with the pizza. You were living there, or you met her there? How were you there? How are you meeting
I
in
lived
Chicago?
there.
Okay, so you lived there too.
Yeah.
Okay, you both.
We both worked in the same place.
Okay, so you were living there, working there, because you were in the military, and then you got out, and then did you come back here?
No,
You
I
went?
stayed there. I was 25 years in Chicago before I got tired of freezing my butt off all
Okay,
winter.
25. Okay, so then you are legit.
I saw my outdoor thermometer one night said minus 38
You're like,
degrees.
I'm out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
I saluted
you've been
it.
here like
I
30
saluted
years, right?
it and said I'd never see that
Yeah,
again.
30 years in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Which is brave. You know,
I
have
was
to
raised
say.
in the northwest suburbs, so.
Okay, so you're brave people. Yeah, you're brave people. So yeah, I think a lot of people say that. You know, you come to California. California's a melting pot, you know, from all other areas. Yes. And I think you find most people that come here say they live here because of the weather. We put up with the crazy stuff that's going on in our state, which I won't even get into. The outrageous prices here and the crowds and the traffic because of the weather. Nobody wants to scrape
But
ice.
we don't have all that cold weather and tornadoes here. I'll put up with the earthquakes now and then.
Yeah, the earthquakes are nothing. And you know, we're all gonna die. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, we all
Okay.
start dying the day we're born, so what are you going to
Right,
do?
right. So your love of the Chicago style pizza, you were living there.
There's no way we were coming back out here without developing a good pizza recipe
Right,
that we could bring along.
right.
And like I said, I had some experience, and along the way, we started out, it was a little different than this, but along the way, I got some tips from Bert.
Okay.
And
Bert Katz, if you're just tuning in,
Yeah.
who is like the king of Chicago style pizza, in your opinion, and in many, Anthony Bourdain has said many times
I'll
that
tell you what you do.
the best pizza he's had,
I'll tell you what you do. Google Pizza King of Chicago,
and his name's going to come up in his picture.
or just Google Bert Katz and see what comes up.
And you were privileged to know him.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
in his kitchen. He's developed this recipe through him, and so this is about as real a deal as you're going to get, especially in Southern California,
Yeah.
I think. And if you live somewhere else, if you live in Chicago, I know there were people that were tuning in to our Facebook Live video that was the test that are from Chicago. So love to hear your feedback, of course, but this is the real deal.
Yeah.
For you. I don't live in Chicago, so I don't know. I don't know what the real deal is. I've had some decent Chicago style pizza out here. Again, you say Bobo's.
Well, Bobo's doesn't do deep dish.
Okay, but he does good crust.
Thin crust,
Okay.
deep, very good pizza.
Okay, and I will say DeCrust in Yucaipa, Frank does a really nice deep dish pizza, so Frank, you get a shout out. And I think Fonzie at Chicago Pasta House
Yes.
does a nice deep dish pizza. I think it's great. So
Yes, he
I appreciate their efforts, and if you're not wanting to make your own, you're going to be happy if you go there. Now, DeCrust is carry out only. Chicago Pasta House is a dine-in restaurant. How much time has gone by? Because I really want to eat this pizza.
It's done.
All right, we're gonna cut it. I think before you cut it, I think you should have your wine. I feel like you worked really hard.
You know what?
You're sweaty.
I couldn't agree
Here,
with you
which
more.
side? I'm gonna come on this side. You have your wine. I'm good with this for right now.
There you go.
Yeah. So cheers.
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 Okay. Cheers. All right. You deserve it. You've worked so hard. He's been this prep that he's done and his wife. Hours of prep to do this today. So give them a big shout out and thanks for sharing this recipe. And I love that you don't want to keep it a secret, that you want to tell, and I'm the same way. I have a recipe, I'm sharing it. I want to share the love.
Pizza turns real easy.
Okay. Get it in there, Ryan.
Oh, thank you.
Huh?
That's all right.
Look how thick that is.
Amazing. It still looks piping hot. I'm still afraid. Now, you eat this with a fork, right?
Yeah.
We need fork.
Yeah.
This is not street
Fork and
pizza.
knife.
That's one of the differences.
So they call it a pie, right?
Yeah, well, one of the differences between Chicago-style pizza and New York
Okay.
is New York pizza is street food.
Yeah, I love New York stuff. I have to admit, that is my go-to. I love thin. I don't typically gravitate towards deep dish. Ryan, you say
You like to fold it up and eat it?
Yeah, I just like
in the bite?
thin. I think it's about the ratio of crust, and I'm always like, it's fattening, but we'll make an exception. I remember taking you, Ryan, my son's on camera, to Chicago Pizza before your mission, and you loved it. Yeah, you loved it.
Yeah.
It's not like we eat it every day.
I like either New York or Chicago.
Look
I don't really like normal pizza that
at
much.
this. Now I'm gonna come closer.
Yeah, bring it a little. I'm gonna
I
put
wanna
it
show
down.
you. I got it. See, this is cheese. Okay, this is the layer of cheese that has, I'm going to use the word brulee because it feels fancy, but the crust and the cheese have met, and they've created this really beautiful, this is cheese. It's solid burnt cheese, if you will. And it's not burnt in a bad way. It's just really, really crispy. That's what I love. And when you bite into this, you're going to understand why I love it. I'm going to rotate this also to the side where you can see the layers. Okay, not too much sauce. The pepperoni on the top is crispy. I love that. It's got the kind of the burnt edges a little bit in a good way. And you can see how much cheese is on here. Now I know you guys want to eat this pizza. It's so good. And it smells just as good as it looks.
Oh, oops,
Can you see the steam coming off of it?
Oh, there you go. That's a
No,
little
I
better.
have one over here.
Okay, I'll rotate
Yeah, that's
that.
nice.
I'll do the Vanna White. I actually pulled all my nails off the other day. I was so sick of them that I yanked every single one off myself. So my nails look hideous. Don't look. How does that look? All right, I'm going to come back and we're going to eat this pizza. All right. Da 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 da. Put my water over here.
I'll eat the two.
So I feel like I need a bib. Now, are we putting more cheese on it?
Is that where you're gonna eat it, Mom?
There's extra cheese and there's
Fresh pepper.
fresh pepper.
You guys all, you all want to fit in.
Yeah, where
You can stay there.
Okay, I'm going to put more cheese on
And
because
there's
I
right there.
love. What was that guy that's doing those videos now and he's doing them like this? He's all fancy. I'm going to add some more cheese to mine. Crushed pepper. I don't want crushed pepper.
Tim does.
I know, Tim does. Look how pretty. Yours has that really pretty, the burnt pepperoni. I love it when they curl a little bit. The edges are perfectly curled.
Ugh.
That's a sign of the best pepperoni. All right. So excited. I'm salivating.
Give him some hardware. Oh, that's right over there.
I'm so excited. Okay, ready?
I'm always ready.
Look what I did. I was cutting like this. I'm all ready. I'm so excited. I'm giddy. Look at the cheese. Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
That may not be the best thing you put in your mouth in your life,
Oh,
but I guarantee you it's the best thing today.
oh my gosh. You guys have to make this pizza. I'm telling you. I eat out all the time. That's all I do is eat out. This is amazing. You need to be blotted again. You're so sweaty. Get in the blot. Nurse. Nurse.
It's pretty hot in here.
I know.
The oven's been on for we're cooking two pies, so.
And the end piece with the cheese.
It's not really that much hard work.
It's got that. I know you're not supposed to talk with your mouth open, but the end has that crispy, almost like a cheese cracker. You know what I mean? Not too much crust.
So it passes.
Oh,
Right.
this is
See,
fantastic.
that's the problem with a lot of it. One of the things that Bert tried to do was he really disliked that most deep dish pizza had very thick
Yeah,
dough.
this is not thick.
Now, deep dish pizza in Chicago was actually invented in 1945
Okay.
at a bar called Uno.
I'm listening, bro.
But now it's called Pizzeria Uno.
Okay.
And
Which is
one of the
okay.
interesting things about it is that the pizza was really something that the guy Ike Sewell, who owned Uno's, wanted something for his customers to have to eat while they were drinking.
Look at this.
There you go.
Wait.
That's why you use whole milk mozzarella.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he asked the gal that did the cooking for him to come up with something.
Okay.
And her nickname was Mama.
Mama.
Deep dish pizza was invented by a black lady.
Okay.
And thank God.
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever. I love that this has a perfect balance. I'm always about balance of food. Why you turn the lights off, Ryan? It's like you're turning them so dark.
The light seems to be, the light got a little bit weird.
Okay, is it better?
Yeah.
That's
it's
because
going
I'm in the
on now.
picture.
That's
Excuse
right.
me, talking with my mouth full.
We're all talking with a mouthful. I like that this is very balanced. I'm always talking about harmonious dishes, and I think that's, to me, when I like something, it's harmonious. So what I mean by that is that it's sweet, it's salty, it's crispy, it's gooey, it's got everything going for it. The tomatoes are sweet, the vegetables are fresh, the cheese is gooey, but then the brulee part's nice. The crust is kind of flaky even. You know, it's
Light.
It's light. It's so strange because pizza dough, especially crappy pizza dough, it's so dense. You know, it just feels like a brick in your stomach, and you know, you're like, ugh. This is very light. The cornmeal gives it like a nice crunch to it. It's crispy. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about thin crust is it's kind of crispy. This is crispy. Nothing soggy. Another pet peeve of mine is when food is soggy. I hate it. I always say people get everything deconstructed, like your biscuits and gravy and your French dip. I hate when things are soggy. You know, do it yourself.
When I
Very harmonious.
When I met Bert, it was May of 1965.
Bert Katz.
And my roommate was the head waiter in a pizzeria that he and a fellow named Jerry Freeman opened called Gulliver's.
Okay. Like Gulliver's Travels.
Those guys mixed like oil and water. They fought about everything.
Yeah.
One of the things they fought about was the thickness of the crust. Another thing they fought about was how many tables and chairs they were going to have in there. Bert didn't want the place where the people were packed together.
I want to just.
And
pull this back.
their final fight was about the day that Jerry had a bunch of tables and chairs delivered.
Yeah.
And when Bert came in, all these new tables and chairs were there. He and Jerry were in the alley behind the place, screaming at each other. Bert was an ex-Marine. I thought he was going to eat Jerry that night.
Yeah. He was a scary guy.
He had Jerry buy him out. He went on to start a pizzeria called Pequod in Morton Grove. Pequod is still in business.
Okay, so these are
But
places
those-
you can still visit if you live in the area or if you're
Yeah.
visiting. Okay.
Those dummies got all of his secrets, got all of his recipes, and proceeded to change them immediately. They ruined a good thing. It's just not the same.
That's too bad.
Well, when he sold to them, he had a non-competition clause in the contract, and he retired. And he did like all good Chicago Jews do. He moved to Florida.
Yes.
After
The
two,
Italians too, not just
Yeah.
the Jews. The Italians are all in Florida
after
too.
2 years, which was how long his non-competition agreement was, he was driving his wife crazy. Sharon said we had to come back because Bert wanted to open another restaurant.
Yeah.
So what did he do? He opened a place a block from Pequot, from his
Awesome.
old joint.
Awesome.
And that place is still open today.
Well, thank you guys so much for inviting us in your home, sharing this pizza. If you guys share the video, share the love. I'm gonna have it. My son will not edit it, but put it together because we had to stop
The
production.
bottom
on
of the
it.
crust should look like that.
Yes, it should be crispy. That way you can share it. We'll put in the thread, I'll put a snapshot of the ingredients for the dough and the way he makes the sauce. What else? I want to thank IE.
The recipe?
What is it? Yeah, the recipe in there. IE Uncensored. Thank you guys for following us. I know you guys sent me a link. I appreciate the love. And anybody else, if you want to share it, we love that. I'm also looking for new people to do the show with. So I already have a lot of people booked. So it's going to happen next year. But if you do something great, I want to tell you to do it.
Don't keep this stuff secret.
Don't keep it secret.
In
Share the love.
Chicago, no pizzeria will tell any other
I know.
pizzeria what they're doing.
It's crazy. Share the love. I want to know if you've got if grandma's recipe or something you grew up on. I don't care what it is. It could be something totally a casserole. It could be something fine dining. I don't care. I want to share it. So, getting a little indigestion. So definitely look me up. I guess we're good. Anybody have any questions? Send us a message in the link and we'll try to answer the best we can. Thank you for tuning in. Cooking with Friends.
How's it taste?
Tastes amazing.
Great.
You like it? You like it?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Thank you. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
See ya.